Just a rebel with a lightsaber dream. Lost my hand, lost my friend, lost my self-esteem.
Hello there, and welcome to Tales from Peridia. Today we are joined by Mariana, the host of the Diamond Badge PML podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on your podcast, your Star Wars podcast. I'm super excited to join you tonight.
Well, thank you. I've seen you posting a lot lately. I've seen you on Gazer's interviews before. I think we did a stream one time. You
Yes.
showed a couple of dope autographs, which I'm super jealous of.
Yeah, that's right. I did have my autograph. Well, like my sketchbook with the autographs.
Yeah. But before we get into this and before we get into you telling us about a bit about yourself and where we can find you at, everybody make sure you guys check out the change.org link in the description. As we all know, AI moderation is getting out of hand, and it's getting to the point where it's multiple people I personally know have either had their YouTube channel or their Instagrams just completely deleted. Luckily, the YouTube ones was kind of like a big, massive bug. So everybody got their channels back that lost their channels. But still, we need more people to do actual moderation for this stuff instead of computers. So, yeah, go check out the change.org and make sure you guys just sign it and make sure it doesn't happen to you. But so back to our regularly scheduled programming. If you want to just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where we can find you at, what type of content you post, all that good stuff.
Sure. So my name is Mariana. I've been a Star Wars fan, I think, for the last, I don't know, give or take 20 years. I kind of was introduced to Star Wars when I was like 6 or 7 years old, when my parents had the original trilogy on VHS. I used to watch it a lot, and it wasn't the special edition. It was like the original VHS.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, they had the original interviews with the film critic Leonard Matlin interviewing George Lucas. I don't know if you remember that intro.
No, I've never seen that.
Oh, wow. But there was, I remember vaguely, one of the memories I had from that VHS was an intro by Leonard Matlin and a brief interview with the creator of Star Wars, George Lucas. But yeah, I watched those VHSs first, and then I watched the prequel trilogy much later on. It was, I think, my first intro to the prequel trilogy was Attack of the Clones, when a family friend was playing it in the DVD at their home, and I watched it, and I was so fascinated and intrigued by it because I did hear that was Darth Vader, but before he became Darth Vader. So that was like interesting, getting to see what he was like, but before he became the Dark Lord of the Sith. And then I watched Revenge of the Sith on HBO, and I remember sitting, because it was super late at night. It was almost like 1:30 in the morning when the movie finished, and I remember just sitting on the bed just like in tears after watching Revenge of the Sith. And then I saw The Phantom Menace, I think, on a Star Wars marathon, I think on TNT or TBS or one of those, or the Spike channel, one of those.
Dude, I remember the Spike Star Wars marathons. I miss those so much.
Yeah. So I watched The Phantom Menace. Believe it or not, this is well, maybe not controversial anymore, but I loved Jar Jar Binks. He was like one of my favorite characters because I loved how funny and how innocent he was. But my official passion for Star Wars kicked off in 2008 when the premiere of Star Wars: The Clone Wars happened, and I was just so taken aback by the animation, the voice acting, and then finding out that this was going to be covering the time period between episodes 2 and 3. So it really intrigued me a lot. And of course, as you can see by my earrings and by my hat, my favorite character is Ahsoka Tano. So I've been a Star Wars fan for a long time, and I'm going to continue to be it because I love the universe. I love the lore. I always found it so interesting getting to see like where George Lucas got the inspirations for the galaxy far, far away. So Yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about me. In addition to loving Star Wars, I love anime. I love musical theater. I love Pokemon. I kind of grew. I didn't grow up like in the Pokemania craze, which was like in the '90s when it came over. I was like more like a 2000s kid. You know,
Yeah.
like in the like all the reruns on Cartoon Network and watching the movies on Cartoon Network and Jetix/Toon Disney, and
Dude,
then
you just unlocked a core memory with JetX right there. Oh my god.
for the audience that doesn't know, that was before what is now known as Disney XD. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, dude, they had all the good shows on there. Oh my god.
Oh, also I love my this was my coffee mug. It's Be My Neighbor, Totoro. I love Hayao Miyazaki movies. I used to watch them all the time as well because Cartoon Network, I believe, had Miyazaki movie marathons, I believe, at one point. And yeah, I love those films too. I also loved like seeing how they went behind the scenes when they were dubbing the anime films and seeing how very different it was to like original animation. So I was always fascinated by that. And then I also love music theater. The reason why I founded the podcast was because I was doing a search or like I was trying to keep alive the memory of a long lost stage production based on Pokemon. So that's what intrigued me to launch the podcast in the first place. I've interviewed like people that grew up in the Pokemania craze, people who saw the show, people who worked on the show. Yeah, and also a lot of very famous voice actors got their start on that production. Are you familiar with an actor named Andrew Rannells?
No.
Okay, so
Maybe if I saw the face, maybe, but that name's not familiar. The only actor I know from Pokemon is Mark Thompson, and that
yeah,
dude is the goat of Star Wars narration for audiobooks. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just listened. I finished Deceived, and then I started the third book in the Old Republic series today, and I didn't know that both of them were read by Mark Thompson. Blew my mind. I
yeah.
love
No, no, no. Yeah,
it.
Mark Thompson's a legend. I had him on my show earlier this year.
Oh, I gotta check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll see like when we're done, I'll be sure to send you the link to the episode because it was great. Because he talked to me a lot about like his audiobook career. He also did some theater as well, and then how he got involved in the Star Wars audiobook universe. So that was really cool. But yeah, no. But Andrew Rannells, are you familiar with an animated show from Amazon Prime called Invincible?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's the guy who voices like the best friend of the main protagonist. William, I believe, is his name.
Yeah, I've never seen the show. I probably need to,
Oh
but
yeah, it's good. I heard it's really, really good. It's very good. It's got a lot of great talent. And I heard the story's very interesting. He voices the best friend. Andrew actually did a lot of voiceover for Pokemon. He did some voiceover for Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece. You know, all of those TV shows that were helmed by the production company for kids, which was the
yeah,
company that dubbed Pokemon for the first 8 seasons. But no, Andrew got his start. He got his start playing the role of James from Team Rocket on that production,
really?
in that stage production, and the guy who plays so you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh. You watched Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
as a kid, right? Okay, so the guy who voiced Maximilian Pegasus, Darren Dunstan, he played Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, in that production as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a lot of people got their foot in the door to their careers based on that show. And also a lot of the people that are not into voiceover, they've gone on to have amazing Broadway and non-Broadway careers. So it was yeah, it's been fun getting to talk with people that worked on the show because again, there was not a lot of information about the production and as what a lot of people I think call it lost media because there were plans to originally put it out on VHS and DVD, but those plans kind of fell flat. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware. You and your audience probably are aware of like a lot of manhunts for lost media, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on the hunt for something that's not the despecialized edition of the original trilogy. Like I want like the actual it's lost media to me.
Well,
But dude, that's sick. That
yeah. Yeah.
wish I was into anime and stuff like that, so like maybe we could have a conversation about that, but I couldn't even get into Visions. I watched like one episode, started the second, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Oh, to be honest, I like the first season of Visions better than the second one, but I heard the third is going to be focusing all anime Star Wars. And I also heard that they're going to do like a spin off of that
Yeah,
short, The Ninth Jedi, right?
yeah, I think so.
Cool. I'll definitely be on the lookout for that.
Heck yeah. Well, you kind of answered the first question that I typically ask people is what got them into Star Wars. You answered that in your little introduction there.
Very long introduction.
Hey, we love it. We love it. That's what this is. That's what this podcast is here for. Is for people to tell their stories and to just build the community. You know, I've
Yeah,
had other podcasters. I've had Roger Christian on here. I've had
I love
freaking
Christian.
yeah, super super awesome guy. Like I even got to pick him up from the airport and all that stuff for ICCC. It was
Yeah. Yeah. I also had Gazer on my podcast too, and he did tell me that story when you guys picked him up at the airport, and I was like, wow. I would freak out if I got to be in the same car with the guy who literally created the lightsaber.
It was insane. Like I followed him one day and my guess is he probably thought that maybe Star Wars Theory got like his account deleted or something because my username is very similar to Theories. It's star.wars.nerd00 and
Yeah.
Star Wars Theories is star.wars.theory.
Uh-huh.
Next thing I know, he just follows me back and I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I gotta see if he's down to do an interview. And he was, and we stay in contact to this day. Like he's so cool. He's so nice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. Speaking of, both Roger and Theory actually teamed up to create a saber, I think, for the Theory Sabers company. And
Yeah,
I actually met Theory 3 months ago at Florida SuperCon.
heck yeah, I met him at ICCC. It was insane because they had Theory's booth right here, and then Roger's booth like almost right across from him, but down one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I actually heard that Theory, he's going now to San Antonio Space Con, and Nick Gillard is going to be with him, allegedly.
I'm so jealous because originally Nick was supposed to come to ICCC with Theory, but it
Really?
fell through.
Oh,
Either that or we completely misunderstood what Theory was saying, but I think Nick was actually supposed to be at ICCC and he
hmm.
wasn't. And I was so upset. But I got to meet Roger and got to meet Lewis McLeod, the voice of Sebulba. I'm pretty
Cool.
sure I don't know if you've seen the clip. It's been all over the place, but my buddy Outpost Treasure Chest, do you know the top Star Wars cards?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
He pulled a one of one Sebulba card while we were all like chilling in the lobby, like having drinks after the convention, doing rip and sips, filming videos of people ripping packs of cards. But he pulls the one of one, and my buddy Wrath of Mandalore just so happens to notice that Lewis McLeod was like 15 feet behind us. So he just walks up to him and is like, all right, this can go one of two ways. He's either going to tell me to fuck off or he's going to come over here and look at this card. And he got him to come over and look at the card. He signed the card for my buddy. He just sat there and had drinks with us for like 15 minutes, just talking with us, bro. It was
Wow.
so awesome.
That sounds awesome. These actors like seem really, really nice and really cool to chat with, you know?
Oh, dude. All the celebrities that I've met aside from Warwick Davis have been super nice to talk to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warwick just had a lot going on, and it's just an ongoing joke that I've got beef with him.
I know that he's been going through a lot, especially after his wife passed. So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
found out after the convention that happened, and I was like, "Well, now I kind of feel bad." Anytime he
Mm.
came around, like you could like visibly see my face just change from happy to like, "All right, bro, get out of my way."
Well, I hope that he's doing a lot better.
Yeah, I hope he's doing great. Like Ray Park is kind of also on my. I kind of don't want to meet him because he's canceled 2 conventions 2 years in a row now. Each time I've
Oh,
tried to go meet him, and, like I hope he's doing good, but like I mean, I'm fine on not spending that $80 on his autograph.
I actually met Ray Park many years ago at WonderCon in 2011, and he was very sweet. He was kind enough to take a photo with me, and then in 2019 in Chicago, my mom, me, and my best friend, we were leaving a pizza restaurant because that was where Star Wars Celebration was happening, and we are walking out, and him and his son are literally about to, they're just coming, beating the rain, and I recognize him, and I was like, oh my god, you're Ray Park. And he's like, yeah, I am. So he was very nice. I took a quick picture with him, and yeah, that I had two very pleasant interactions, but I have been a little I hope that he's doing a lot better. I heard that he's been going through a lot, and it's not fun, when you're a big celebrity. I just hope that he gets, just want him to know that we're here to support him, and that.
I hope he's doing great, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. It's just I'm not gonna flock to a convention that says that they've got him because I'll believe he's there when I see him at a booth.
Well, actually, he did. They did announce him at a convention last week, and actually this past weekend, and he did go.
Yeah, my buddy JT, he got to meet him finally because he's been trying for like 4 years now to meet him, and every time he's canceled, but he finally got to meet him. And he sent me all the videos, bro. Like Ray is so cool. Like he does this thing where like he'll ask the like whatever actor he's meeting to like kind of draw something on him, and he'll get it tattooed, like that's his memorabilia.
Cool.
And he got Ray Park to like draw Darth Maul somewhat inside of a design that was already on his shoulder. So it
Cool.
was like, dude, what?
That's exciting. That's
Yeah, it
awesome.
is.
Right. And that's great that he finally got to meet him.
Yeah.
I heard another celebrity that a lot of people really want to meet, but he usually cancels a lot. Freddie Prinze Jr., who plays Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah. At Ocala Comic Con back in September, they basically had the entire Rebels cast aside from Sam Witwer being Maul and um, Freddie Prince Jr.
Yeah,
And I was talking to I've always forget the voice actress's name, but Sabine Wren. I was talking to
Kate's
her.
car, Tia.
Yeah, Tia. I was talking to her and I was like, yeah, it'd been really cool to get like everybody like here, like I'd love to talk to all the Rebels cast. And she was like, yeah, it would be nice if Freddie would finally get out here for a reunion, wouldn't it? And I was like, okay, so even you guys want this. Good.
Yeah. No, I did meet him also in Chicago, and it was me with a dual picture with him and Sam.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is sick.
That was really cool. That was cool. And it was fun that I was like, you know what, kill two birds with one stone. Get them both in the same picture instead of like having to pay more money for like two separate pictures.
Yeah. See, that's what I need to do. Whenever I finally get to go to a con that has Hayden and Ewan, like I need to finally meet them, and I need to get the dual photo op. But I feel like for my first time, I gotta spend the extra money and just get both solo photo ops, like one with Hayden, one with Ewan, and then wait for another convention and then get the dual.
Yeah. I have met Hayden. Well, actually, speaking of, I think I might have told you guys when I was on Gazer's stream, but I met Hayden twice. Once at Florida SuperCon, and the second time was MegaCon Orlando in 2023. And then last year, I went to see his dual panel with Ewan McGregor, and that was pretty awesome.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous. I was supposed to go see him at Fan Expo Chicago, but it just so happened to be right the weekend after Rebel ScumCon, and I couldn't pull both of them. And like my buddies had banded together to get my tickets for Rebel ScumCon, so I couldn't really be like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow, that sounds really cool. Like, I've been hearing a lot of Star Wars like that are separate from Celebration, like ICC Con, Rebel Scum Con, Echo Base Con. Those all sound really, really cool. So I
Oh,
hope I hope to go in the near future.
they're so great because like what that story about Lewis McLeod, that'll never happen at a Star Wars celebration. That'll
Oh God,
never happen at a fan expo or megacon or anything like that.
no, 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 no. But that's really cool that you guys got to have all those experiences and getting to like meet all these celebrities. So yeah,
Well,
that's awesome.
since we've been talking about celebrities and their characters, good segue into the next question. Who is your favorite character in all of Star Wars? Like all of the media?
Oh, I have 5 top favorite characters. Is it okay if I share
Yeah,
them with you?
go ahead.
I would say number 1. Wait, hold on. I'll start at number 5. Uh, Princess Leia. Number 4 is Padme. Number 5, I think, is Luke Skywalker. Number 2 is Anakin Skywalker. And then number 1, my favorite, Ahsoka Tano. And
Now
then
I got
I'll do an honorable mention, 2 honorable mentions, Yoda and Cara Dune.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, heck yeah.
yeah.
Now I gotta ask. Anytime somebody brings up Luke Skywalker, we got to clarify what version of Luke Skywalker are we talking? We talking Episode 8 Luke Skywalker? We talking good Luke Skywalker?
We're talking original trilogy Luke Skywalker. Like the Luke Skywalker in his prime.
Good, good.
Luke Skywalker in his prime, and then maybe Mando season 2. Mando season 2. Like
Well,
end
I'd
of
argue that that's his prime.
Okay, true. Yeah. That is correct. But I would say the character development that he went through from
Dude,
episodes 4 through 6. I mean, from him starting off as this young farm boy who wants to escape, his town to go on to a new adventure. Then episode 5, him being dragged into this conflict, and then finding out that the biggest villain in the entire galaxy is his father after he was told by his Jedi mentor Obi-Wan that his father died, and then having the really jaw-dropping twist that this dark figure is his father, and then 6, him becoming a Jedi and then trying to figure out if there's even good in his father or not, and then when he does, he tries to bring him back, seeing that his father is not completely dead. So I think that is a great character arc.
I just got goosebumps the entire time you were describing his character arc, bro. There's just something about that version of Luke, man. It's so good and it's so frustrating that they pretty much just made him a copy and paste of the prequel Jedi. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I've spent too much time bashing the Last Jedi and all that, and it's kind of gotten a little annoying, especially whenever you just make the same arguments that everybody's made for since 2017.
Yeah.
But so our next question: have you played any of the Star Wars video games or tabletop games?
Regarding the video games, I think the only video games I played was like the do you remember in the arcade the original trilogy arcade game? I played that a lot when I was like growing up and like going when we went to different arcades or we went to different parties like GameStop or GameWorks or whatever. um and then I did Star Wars Jedi Alliance, the Clone Wars on the Nintendo DS.
Didn't play that one.
Oh, and then I did Jedi, and then I did the other Star Wars Jedi Duel on the Wii. So those are the only video games that I think I've played only. So
No Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga?
no,
And you
no.
call yourself a Star Wars fan? Yeah, dude, there's so many good Star Wars games from back in the day. There's one that I'm probably just making up at this point, but like my cousin doesn't remember it, and like I remember playing it with him. It was
Mm,
I remember playing it on like the N64 or the GameCube, and you played as Luke Skywalker, and you fought the Emperor, and the Emperor, like, Luke had Force lightning, but he wasn't evil. It wasn't the Jedi Knight games, because I know, or the Jedi Academy games, because I know in those games you can use lightning and all the characters, but it wasn't that. I don't know what it was, but I just remember fighting Palpatine in a library, and Palpatine, like, they used like the original Emperor like picture in it. It wasn't like
right.
Ian McDermott. It was the one from Empire Strikes Back, and I can never remember the lady who played or who bodied Palpatine in the hologram, but I
Mm.
just remember that.
I don't remember her name either. Sorry.
I think it's like it's Majori something, but I can't remember it. So what is your favorite Star Wars book if you've read any?
I think my favorite so far, um, I would say, hmm, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't read a lot of Star Wars books. The only ones that I've read, I believe, are Ahsoka. I forgot the name of what was the name of the squadron from Battlefront 2?
Rogue Squadron?
No, no, no. It
No.
was Spire Squadron or something. I know it was the one that the girl, what's her name, Eden Versio was a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember what that is.
No, but I read that novel. I read that one. Who else did I read? I read briefly the Princess Leia novel, which was like gonna lead into the Last Jedi, and then I read Bloodline by Claudia Gray, and then Catalyst, which was the Rogue One prequel by James Luceno. So I think the two that I like the most would have to be Catalyst and Bloodline.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I
James
found those
Luceno
two.
is
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that James Luceno is top notch. Like he's one of the goats for Star Wars authors.
Wow. Didn't he at one point was on the Lucasfilm story team?
I'm not sure. I just got into like all the novels and stuff like that like 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I remember vaguely like going to the library. I was like, I don't know, maybe 11, 12, and I just picked up a random Star Wars book and I flipped to a random page just to see like what it was like, just to like kind of I don't know, get a glimpse of the book. And it said something about Luke Skywalker's son, and I closed the book and I said, "Jedi can't have kids," and I picked the book up.
Yeah,
It's
so
kinda,
you were probably reading Legends.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love the Legends novels. It's like the Old Republic, easily my favorite era. I've done so much research on Legends Luke because I'm doing my own write of the sequel trilogy, just to
Cool.
make sure that I get Luke right. By
Cool.
God, is it a lot?
No. If you're the first one to publish it or post it on whatever website, I'll be the first one of the first people to read it.
Well, it's the first part of the first story has already been released. It's called The Shroud of Darkness. Uh,
Hmm.
it follows these two. It was twins at first, but I've kind of George Lucas did a little bit and kind of went and tweaked some stuff and changed some stuff because I went too far in a few places.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Uh,
Okay.
but it follows this brother and sister. Eventually, something happens and they get separated, and it's basically just a big miscommunication. And one of them was a little too slow, and the events of the galaxy are about to be doomed.
Oh boy, that should be interesting.
Bas-
Also, I recently bought 2 years ago the original Obi-Wan Kenobi novel by Jonathan Jackson Miller.
I started that. and then I quit listening to it because I listened to all my stuff on Audible. Started it, I got like a chapter in, and I was like, I'll come back to this book.
I think I've only read the first page so far because I've been so busy with work. I haven't had a chance
I
to
think
finish
I'm just not a
it.
big fan of John Jackson Miller because he wrote this book, and
Oh, that one. Yeah, The Living Force.
it
Yeah.
is so bad. It is just
Oh.
boring. Well, to me, it's boring.
Right. There's a lot of other fans I've spoken with have really hold him in high regards. The one
Yeah.
the one that they really hold the most regards, in my opinion, they should be talking to is Timothy Zahn.
Timothy Zahn. Oh my! If I had to like top 3 authors that need to just go ahead and work with Lucasfilm on stories from now on, James Luceno, Matt Stover, and Timothy Zahn.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw this, but I was going on Instagram and I follow, do you follow the Instagram account GalaxyCon Live?
Yes, I'm going to my first one in December to meet the Clone Wars cast.
Oh, that's exciting. So I was like literally scrolling through them, and they had a post that Timothy was doing a questionnaire, and they asked him, "Hey, have you had any conversations or any involvement with season 2?" And Timothy straight up said, "I've reached out to them, and they have not taken up." I'm like, "What do you mean they have not taken up on your advice, sir? You literally created Thrawn. Like, what's going on over there? You know?"
Well, I don't. I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 at this point. Disney did a whole thing where authors like would not get royalties for their work. Like any books or anything, they wouldn't get royalties because Timothy Zahn used to be like, if you brought like a Thrawn Funko Pop or something, he'd charge like $5-10 for his autograph. Recently had to start charging like 20-25 for it. Books used to be free. Now he's charging $10 because Disney was like, "Hey, you're not getting your royalties." And I think they just like settled it like a couple months ago or something like that. I remember seeing this. I do remember like researching like why don't Lucasfilm and Disney work with the authors of the old novels and stuff like that. And pretty much just Disney wants to tell their own story.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I heard, many years ago, that's why there was another author that was fighting for his royalties and wasn't getting paid. His name was what's his name? Alan Dean Foster, I believe was his name. And he was
That
not
name
getting
sounds very familiar.
yeah, he apparently was not getting paid his royalties, and I think there were some authors that were putting a lawsuit against Disney, and I posted about it on my Instagram story. I'm like, "Disney, what are you doing? Like, this man has contributed a lot to your Star Wars book universe. I mean, long before the acquisition, and like this man should at least still be getting paid, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and also like James Luceno, whoever wrote a book, you know?
I've got the original, like it's got the Legends novel, so it's not like the essential Legends novel,
Right.
but it's still printed under Disney because it's got the new like the new stuff.
Oh yeah. The Tarkin book and the New Dawn with Kanan and Hera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't know. I don't get why it's so hard to just get the people who wrote the stories to give advice on this.
I don't know. You know what?
Well,
They should. They should, in my opinion, because they were there since the beginning. They were there during the times between, Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace.
well,
So, yeah.
it's not even like them trying to adapt all these stories and stuff too, or like bringing in Thrawn and stuff like that. It's like Vernestra Rowe, the creator of her, Justina Ireland. She was in the middle of writing the book that was supposed to be Wayseeker, and she started getting a lot of hate online because of how they made Vernestra in the show. And she's like, "What the hell are these people talking about? I didn't even know they were using my character for this." So she went and watched it, and she had to throw. She was like 2/3 of the way done with the book. She had to scrap it and rewrite the entire Wayseeker novel, and that's what the book we
Wow.
got now.
Whoa, I did not know that. I
Yeah,
I did hear. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not read the High Republic.
me either.
I looked at some of the art. I read some of the bios. I read excerpts of some of the novels they were going to put out, and I was like, this is not for me. I was expecting like Old Republic, you know, we all thought it was going to be the Old Republic, but it was something completely different. And then to hear that allegedly that they wrote her character differently than how she was in the books, I was like, wow, like that's a complete 180.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I've seen people say that people like me need to just not be upset about Luke Skywalker being drastically changed from Return of the Jedi to The Last Jedi, and then they're like, Vernestra Rowe wouldn't act like this. She would never do this. I'm like, that's
Bro,
Luke Skywalker would never try to kill his fucking nephew. I'm
exactly.
just saying.
Yeah. It's a double standard, you know? It's a double
I love doing I love kind of getting into a little bit of heated debates. Like I love to obviously keep them civil. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like,
no.
no, you're stupid and you're not a fake fan or you're not a real fan, stuff like that. Because in my eyes, there are no fake fans, bro. Like not everybody's gonna know every single detail of everything, and not everybody's gonna like everything. So I
Yeah.
mean, I know people who just like Young Jedi Adventures because their kids like it, and that's the only Star Wars that they watch.
Yeah. I know that there's people that are more fans of the what's it called, the Jendi Taratovsky Clone Wars than the Dave Filoni Clone Wars. I mean, I love the Jendi Taratovsky. It looks awesome. I mean, it's the same guy who made Samurai Jack, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I got the figures, bro. Well, my buddies surprised me. Wrath of Mandalore and Sklee 3PO surprised me with a couple different things like that. Like I bought the original one.
Wow.
Well, actually, I was gonna buy Fordo, Kenobi, and Anakin separately, and then my buddy Sklee was like, "Hey, there's one over here. It's a 3-pack for $1 less than what you're about to pay for all three of those figures separately." I was like, "That sounds like a good. That sounds like a good deal right there." And then next thing I know, they come up to me and they're like, "Hey, we know you love this scene, so here's the Asajj one." And I was like, "Bro," because I was even at 8 years old, like when the movie first came out. I remember going with a couple of my friends because it was one of their birthdays, and they all loved the Clone Wars movie, and I didn't like it. And they were like, "Why didn't you like it, dude?" I was like, "Anakin doesn't have a Padawan. We've
Yeah.
not had a single mention of this character. It makes no sense." And
Yeah.
then I was like, "I'm not watching this cartoon stuff. It's for kids. I'm gonna watch the movies." And then 2023, I decided to finally watch Rebels and Clone Wars, and I don't regret it.
No, it's okay. Like it's okay if you're late to the party. I mean, a lot of people I think started binge watching more of the show. I think in the midst of the COVID shutdown. So a lot of like younger fans got into that like when they weren't originally there when the show was originally airing on Cartoon Network, so they got to see it now on Disney Plus. So don't
Yeah.
worry, you weren't too late. You're never too late. But yeah, well, because like I binged watched other shows earlier this year, like what was it called? I binged watched Monk. Do you know that TV show Monk?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's really good. I also started watching. I'm on season 4 right now of The Sopranos. So
You are in for a treat. I would love to say that if you were like on season 1 or 2, but oh my god, Sopranos is like my favorite non Star Wars, like my favorite non nerdy show. Like that show is so good. Oh my god.
yeah, it's very interesting. It's got like a lot of complex characters to it.
Yes.
Like how the character of Tony Soprano is like trying to balance his life as like a mob boss and a dad, you know, and a husband, and is getting embroiled in like a lot of a lot of deals gone bad without, you know, and making sure that he doesn't get whacked. And then being on the lookout that some people might be working with the feds. So that's a lot going on.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I was like, because I had on my show the lead actor of the Pokemon stage show, and he got to meet the guy who played Christopher Moltisanti at the opening night of the show because he brought his kids to see it. So
Oh, that's sick.
yeah. And then the next day he bumped into him at a drugstore and he didn't recognize him. He's like, huh? And then because he was like, oh no, I played Ash in the show last night, in Radio City. And he goes, oh yeah. He's like, God bless, great job. And then he ran away. So that was really cool.
Sick.
That was cool that Michael Imperioli got to go see the show. And the funny thing is that they referenced Pokemon cards in I think the first season where Christopher and another guy, I think his name was Puss, they were like talking about hit jobs, and he's like, "Oh, tonight, Puss, me and Tommy Mac are gonna hit a truck of these Pokemon cards."
I know exactly which one you're talking about too.
I was like, "That's hysterical." Because I was like, of course they had to reference, because that was when the craze was still happening in '99. So I'm like,
yeah. Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm glad that you finally got to watch the Clone Wars and Rebels. So, like I said, you're never too late. I might eventually watch what's it called? Lego Rebuild the Galaxy. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I heard it's pretty funny.
It's funny. I saw the first one, and then I saw like half of the newest one that just came out. I was like, kind of don't feel the urge to finish this. Like, I don't even really want to make a video on this because like my view on it is like it's a Lego special. Like it's not canon. It's kind of not really worth me covering. Like, yeah, sure, they do make a little nods, and it's kind of technically the Star Wars what if. It's not the what if that I wanted.
Right.
I want what if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side, damn it, please.
That is so funny. That's funny. But I might eventually get to Rebuild the Galaxy soon.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and then also Tales of the Bounty Hunters. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. I heard it
Tales of the Underworld,
Oh, sorry, Underworld, excuse me. Sorry.
It should have been Tales of the Bounty Hunters, to be honest with you. That's what it really should have been titled. But
true.
It's decent. Yeah. Honestly, to me, it just kind of feels like each of the Tales series they're doing, they've just dipped in quality, like storyline wise. I'm also in the minority on that because I've heard a lot of people praise both Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Underworld. I'm like, Tales of the Jedi was the best one that came out.
No, it was. It truly was. Tales. I was interested. I was very intrigued by Morgan Elsbeth's story, especially because I think they introduced the concept of the witches of the Singing Mountain clan, because we obviously knew about the Night Sisters, but then there was another group of Night Sisters that were not tapped into like the dark side of the magic. So the fact that that Dave Filoni got to bring that in and be the clan that adopted her after Grievous wiped out the Night Sisters was very interesting.
Yeah, I did hit a little burnout period with Star Wars. And now that I'm going through and like doing a rewatch series with my buddy, I don't know if we're going to do like every single movie and show, but like right now we're rewatching The Acolyte. And
oh boy.
It's bad, but it's not nearly as bad as I remember it being. Especially like I've read the Plagueis novel a couple of times and still wish that they would just get rid of those stupid twins and the stupid space witches because no.
Didn't sit well with the story, and
it doesn't sit well.
No, and also like the fact that they pulled I don't mean to spoil it for the audience, but the fact that the witches were able to create them out of the Force, I'm like, what about the prophecy of the chosen one? Like,
that's the issue with the show is there's no indication of what the hell is witchcraft and what is the Force. There's no indication whatsoever.
None. No, and that's why like everybody I spoke to, them, like the way how they created the sisters, the way how it's like pulling a thread out of thin air out of the Force, I'm like, so wait, are all the children conceived from the Force considered chosen ones, or is Anakin like this, in my opinion, this feels like this felt like a massive slap in the face to George Lucas's legacy. You know, I did not like it.
Essentially, I mean,
And
there's
Anakin's legacy.
yeah,
Last slap in the face. You know.
there's good things in the show, like Chimere, Manny Jacinto. Met
Well,
him
yeah,
at
he was pretty
Ocala
good.
Comic Con.
He was pretty good.
Brother is the star of the show. No matter what anybody wants to try to tell me,
Yeah.
that man is the leading man in the show.
I was not expecting him to be the bad guy.
No,
Not at all.
I knew it. Like the second I saw him making the poison, I was like, "Yep, you're the bad guy. You're the Sith Lord, the Sith, the Sith that everybody freaks out that Kiadi Mundi never sees and talks about. Really,
That's another thing that really ticked me off. Was like, they're like, how old is Kiadi Mundi? Or like, oh, you guys are throwing a fit over Kiadi Mundi's birthday, and I'm like, oh, but Kiadi Mundi said in The Phantom Menace, like, the Sith have been extinct for thousands of years, you know? So, like...
There's, my buddy and I actually just released our episode 4 a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about that. They literally don't even reference Darkseid during that entire meeting. They literally say, oh, she's been trained by a former Jedi.
like a former
It's
Jedi.
just stupid that Kiadi Mundi's in there. Like, there's no reason for him to be there whatsoever.
No
Except
reason
for to
at all.
open his big stupid mouth and get our protagonist in massive trouble, like always. Because that's all he's good for.
Oh, man.
Well, speaking of shows, what is your favorite Star Wars movie or show? Well, movie and show.
Okay, so my favorite oh my god, that's so hard because let me tell you, I've always enjoyed Return of the Jedi because that was like the big finale. That was like when Luke Skywalker saved Darth Vader. And that was like the ultimate decision that he had to make. You know? It's like, oh, like, okay, we're here at the climax. Like, this is it. Like, Luke has got to make a life or death decision. Either, you know, I live and flee and go help my friends, or I stay here and die trying to save my father. You know?
Yeah.
Then I also, and believe it or not, I'm in the minority. I loved episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I know that people give Hayden and Natalie a lot of flack for their chemistry, but I love the romance between Anakin and Padme. And I thought that Padme served, again, one of the catalysts that led to him to his dark side, because I think now with the inclusion of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, there were 3 things: his mother dying, Ahsoka leaving the Jedi, and then of course his fear of losing Padme. So it was like that whole culmination of cataclysmic events, you know? So
that, and I'd say an honorable mention obviously has got to be whenever they fake Obi-Wan's death and do not tell him that they faked his death.
Oh,
that was that right there. Anakin went full on, like he was ready to murk some people more than whenever Clovis was about to make his move on Padme.
Oh yeah. I like that episode too when he beat Clovis up. I was like, yeah,
why don't you fight me without your Jedi tricks? You're gonna say that to the 6-foot war general with the cyborg hand.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens.
But yeah, no, those were, I think, the top 2 films would be Return of the Jedi and Attack of the Clones, and then maybe also Revenge. And then I'm kind of torn between Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back. Because, you know, Revenge of the Sith was like what leads to his downfall, but The Empire Strikes Back is like the big reveal, you know? So it's a lot.
Those 2 movies, to me, they're on their own separate pedestals.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie, but my favorite one recently, especially after like losing my mom back in June, Attack of the Clones. Like the night that happened, like that was the only thing I did was I just put in Attack of the Clones and just tried to forget about everything. But Revenge of the Sith is like the best Star Wars movie, and Empire Strikes Back is the best movie, period. Like but then like you got all those different rankings for the different movies. But yeah, Attack of the Clones is like my favorite. now.
And as for the TV shows, okay, I'm stuck between the Clone Wars because that's what officially kicked off my passion for Star Wars. But I would also say I really enjoyed Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 because they brought back that feeling that I think a lot of fans witnessed when we originally saw A New Hope, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say it's a tie between the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2.
Heck yeah. I'm not too sure what my favorite Disney Star Wars show is. A lot of the more I think about them, like I've enjoyed them, but I'm not gonna rewatch. Like I don't rewatch them like that. Like I rewatched Ahsoka like 4 or 5 times,
Oh, wow.
and like the novelty kind of wore off after like the second binge, and then I waited a little bit, and then I got the Steelbook DVDs.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's rewatch it, and then I rewatched it again. And I was like, kind of not liking this as much as I did.
Aw.
And I watched it again, and I was like, it's good. It's got its moments,
Yeah.
but
Same.
I definitely like my buddy Blora Mandalore and Commander Jesse. They do their Mando mating. It's their weekly podcast, and they were talking about their Ahsoka predictions. And he kind of he was like, just give it a little bit of time. Like this is one of those stories that like once you have all the seasons that you can binge watch together and not wait 2 years in between each season,
Yeah.
then it's gonna make a lot more sense and feel a lot more coherent. Because honestly, like it feels like a good setup season, but I'm also feel like I'm missing a lot of information.
A lot of people have said the same thing, that they feel like, yeah, we should have had a little bit more information. And I
Yeah.
feel like that we could have had a better backstory or understanding of why Ahsoka had her fallout with Sabine. So I think that was like one of the biggest complaints that I've heard.
Yeah, well, I thought the way that they explained the fallout was good because Sabine was wanted to go help Mandalore and House of Ren from Knights of a Thousand Tears, but Ahsoka was like, "Nope, that's attachment, brother, not allowed." Because
That's
then,
right.
in my eyes, like after that, I'm sorry, Sabine should just be like, "Screw you, Ahsoka. I don't even want to be in the same galaxy as you right now." But that's just the darkness within me.
But yeah, no, I remember I've actually rewatched episode 5 a lot because let me tell you, I loved that Clone Wars flashback because fans have been wanting it for years and then they finally got it. So
See,
yeah.
here's my thing with the Clone Wars flashbacks. At what point is it just easier for them to give us the untold missions arcs in live action? Because
I
like
don't
yeah,
know.
it's cool and it's nice to get these flashbacks, but like, brother, if you could just give me a whole series or a movie or something.
Or a mini series, I'd be all for it. Yeah, I'd be all for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
heard there's a rumor that Ewan might be coming back for season 2, and he might be wearing the Obi-Wan armor. I don't know. It's just a rumor. We'll see.
that's one I'm a little on the fence about because I feel like if they do that, it's gonna take away from the point of or like the plot of like the actual story that's going on instead of like, hey, they love the Clone Wars, fan service, which some people are like, give me all the fan service. I want
Yeah.
it to make a little bit of sense. Like, why would we be getting a Clone Wars flashback involving Kenobi unless it's a Mortis flashback, which would be absolutely insane, and I'm 1000% for.
I heard there's a rumor saying that there is going to be a Mortis flashback, and
I hope so.
they're going to bring in the father and they're going to bring in the son. I don't know if they're going to bring in the daughter, but there has also been rumors for months, I think even a year, that they're bringing in the mother, aka Abeloth.
Yeah, that is one where everybody immediately went to with that final shot of Balin on the statue of the father. That was insane, and that instantly, like, I knew very little about Abeloth about that time,
Me
and
too.
even then I was like, he's definitely going for Abeloth. He's going for Abeloth, dude. I wish I was making YouTube videos at the time because I would have loved to get my reaction to that. The ending of episode 4 with the hello snips and the entirety of episode 5.
Yeah.
My initial reactions, bro, like when that screen cut to black at episode 4, I was cursing Filoni out. I was like, you can't do this to me. This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you give us the best ending to a freaking arc right now of an episode and it just ends? What
Yeah.
what is this? Why?
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. But I'm sure we'll see more of that. We'll definitely see more of. I won't. I mean, come on, Hayden is definitely coming back for season 2. I mean, there's no reason, like, Lucasfilm, I think, has finally been paying attention that people love the prequels, because I think that was like one of the biggest mistakes that they made when they initially acquired Star Wars, was that they tried to downplay the prequels. And they didn't even include the prequels in their merchandise. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know?
Well, my buddy Clone Force 97, he's like one of the most knowledgeable people I know about like Disney in general,
Hmm.
like business wise, and like just like, hey, did you know that in like 1955 Walt Disney had this idea? Like he's like he knows his stuff about Disney.
Yeah.
And he was telling me because we saw the restaurant that Bob Iger and George Lucas sat at and discussed the selling of Star Wars. And he was like, yeah, George tried to get like $11 billion, just like how Marvel got sold to them for $11 billion.
Hmm.
And Bob was like, hey, bro, listen, you haven't made a movie since 2005/2008, and both of them really weren't well received, and your whole prequel trilogy wasn't well received, and we're trying to not do that. And then what happened? They did it.
Yeah, but still, I feel it feels like that it took them way too late to recognize that the prequels and the Clone Wars are so loved. And that was, again, another big mistake was when they canceled season 7 of the Clone Wars. I mean, they canceled the Clone Wars after season 5. They released the remaining season 6 on Netflix, and then they brought it back to finish the final season, which,
Yeah.
in my opinion, was, I think, some of the best Clone Wars I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah. Well, 8 of the 12 episodes are really good. I can do without the Ahsoka
Oh yeah,
and
the
twin
Martez sisters.
arc. That every time I just skip that arc.
I don't know. Let me tell you. Originally, it was going to be a guy, not the Martez sisters. It was going to be a guy named Nick Sokami, who was going to be. I think he was kind of going to serve as like Ahsoka's boyfriend, or like maybe her one-off boyfriend or something. And my guess is that Dave Filoni was like, "Yeah, I don't want Ahsoka to have a boyfriend." You know, because like, the funny story. I actually met the guy who voiced Lux Bonteri, you know, the son of the senator from
Yeah.
Onderon, who helped Saw Gerrera lead the rebellion on Onderon.
Yeah.
So I met Jason at Florida SuperCon, and he was like, you know, it would be so cool if Lux was like involved in like Rebels. And I told him, like, if he had been involved in Rebels and Andor, that would have been really cool. He's like, yes, because he would have been supporting the rebellion and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, that would have been so fun to bring him back, you know. And then I told him about the Martez sisters, and then about Nick Sokami, and he was like, "Wow, I did not know that." That Lux was basically replaced by Nyx, and then Nyx got replaced by the Martez sisters.
Oh.
That's crazy. I mean, I would love to see like all those unproduced episodes and those, because I read somewhere on IMDb that there was like various ideas that they had. I think at one point they were going to bring in the Yuzon Vong. Do you remember those aliens?
I know what the Yuzong Vong are because I'm in the midst of reading the new Jedi Order series,
Mm-hmm.
and that would have been insane. There's so many good things that they could have brought in, like that deleted scene of the son meeting with Revan and Bane's Force Ghost. Like, I understand why George cut that because Sith can't have Force Ghosts,
Exactly.
but dude, that would have been so great. It would have been so great, man.
That would have been cool.
Even
But,
though we did get technically Darth Bane. I like Darth Bane. He's my favorite Sith, but not that Night Bane. That I don't like that design. That design was just
weird.
it's dumb. But then I saw the 3D animation of Bane in his Orbalisk armor, and I was like, I understand why they changed it now. That doesn't look too good.
No, yeah. But it was really cool they got to bring Mark Hamill to voice him. So I
Oh,
thought
yes.
that was cool. Because I remember when I first saw the episode, and I was like, why do I recognize that voice? And then the credits were, I was like, oh, it's Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. Well, of course, because he's a voice actor legend. I mean, he's the freaking Joker from Batman. Come on. You know, so I wasn't surprised that they got him. That was really cool.
So there's a thing that Mark Hamill does that if people ask him for an autograph like out in public, he'll ask them to take a picture instead because he knows most people are just trying to sell his autograph online for scalpers and shit like that.
Ugh, I hate that.
If I ever run into him in public, because I'm never going to spend like $800 to get an 8x10 signed by this guy. Love him. I'll just support him by watching the original trilogy. But if I ever run into him in public, like I've got a Topps card that's a Darth Bane card from the Clone Wars. I'm gonna be like, hey, will you sign this? It's not Luke Skywalker. That or Skips from regular show.
That's funny.
Dude, I found out last year that he played Skips on a Facebook post. And I was like, this man played my childhood? What?
Yeah, like how I found out he was a voice actor was also a Miyazaki film that he did called Castle in the Sky. He played the villain. So that's how I first learned about his voiceover career. It was it was not the Joker, it was Castle in the Sky. Yeah.
Well, this has been a very fun conversation and interview with you.
Oh yeah, it's been so great. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I really love talking all things Star Wars and our celebrity interactions. Actually, I have a question for you.
What up?
Who is one celebrity that you would love to meet?
Ooh. Well, obviously Hayden Christensen. I mean, that dude he's my childhood. Jake Lloyd would be insane to meet too, because I've never understood the hate around Kid Anakin. That's just never sat right with me.
Yeah, same line with Ahmed Best.
Yeah, Ahmed Best would be insane. But I actually am going to go meet one of the actors that I really want to meet. I don't know if you know who Kevin Smith and Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, Kevin Smith. My little brother has seen him live a few times.
I got to see him when he did his tour for Clerks 3 going out in theaters, but I have a signed Jay and Silent Bob version of Clerks.
Oh,
and
wow.
Dante is actually going to be at GalaxyCon.
Brian O'Halloran.
Yeah, and I'm meeting him there. Jerry Trainer's gonna be there also, so I'm meeting him there too.
Yes, from iCarly.
Yes.
I loved iCarly, and I loved Drake and Josh. Ashley Eckstein, one of her first guest starring jobs was on the pilot episode of Drake and Josh. One of the pilot, I think the second episode.
I didn't know that until it was like NostalgiaCon that like they all met up and took a picture together.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. They're like, "What? That was you, Ashley? That was you?" And they're like, "Yeah, that was Susan." That's how I was first introduced to Ashley. Was her as Susan, and then her as Muffy on That's So Raven.
What?
Yeah, she was like one of the mean girls that bullied Raven with Adrian Bylon, who played Alana. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, bro. I used to watch That's So Raven religiously too.
Surprise! Yeah, she was the mean girl Muffy. And
that's okay.
And she's nothing like Muffy. Nothing like her at all. She's the sweetest lady. I've actually first met her. I'm sorry to go off.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, so I met Ashley in Star Wars Weekends 2010 at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and she was so sweet. And I've met her various times throughout the last 15 years, and she remembers me. So that's really cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I met the
Sorry, go ahead.
I met the Mandos like Tate Fletcher, Paz Vizsla, Emily Swallow, the Armorer at Rebel ScumCon,
Yeah,
and
they're
I
the
also
best.
met Taylor Gray there, and then they were all at Ocala Comic Con. And when I went up, Taylor was like, "You look very familiar, dude." I was like, "We met at freaking Rebel ScumCon." He looked, he was like, "You gave me a cool business card, didn't you?" Because I don't have them with me. But my business card, like my logo is me dressed as Anakin doing his behind the back block, but it's got a TIE fighter over it that says
Oh.
nerd and the 00, or it's the TIE Vader's TIE Advanced, and it's got it's just really cool. But Tate Fletcher remembered me and my buddy Wrath of Mandalore from there because we filmed a video all weekend asking different people what Star Wars meant to them, and we asked Tate Fletcher what Star Wars meant to him, and I brought it up to him. I was like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you remember me, but me and my buddy Wrath," and he actually he was paying attention, but he was kind of like looking around, like he doesn't really make eye contact because
Right.
I'm like that too. Like
Yeah. Same here.
I can't do eye contact at all.
Same here. Same here.
But he instantly perked up, looked into my eyes and was like, "Wrath of Mandalore? I remember you guys. You guys asked me what Star Wars meant to me. Where's that goddamn video?" And I was like, I edited the whole 30-minute video for my buddy and he posted it, and then he texted me, he's like, "Where's the Tate segment?" I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, "You dumbass, you forgot the best part." And I was like, "Don't worry, I turned it into its own video." And he was like, good, I deserve to be my own video.
That's so funny. That's so great that they remembered you. Actually, I met Taylor at Celebration 2017, right after the season 4 panel when they announced that was going to be the final season. I was heartbroken, you know. But then we also, because Taylor also worked at Nickelodeon too. He did a TV show called Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventure, and it turns out that Wes Antilles, who made an appearance in Rebels, he was voiced by Nathan Kress, aka Freddie Benson from iCarly.
Well, did you know that the voice actress for Ventress plays Chum Chum from Fanboy?
Yes.
I didn't realize that till I went to go meet her.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking down at her prints and I see Chum Chum at the very end. I looked up. I was like, "You play Chum Chum?" She's like, "Yes." I was like, you are my childhood right now. Like, that was the show that I watched every Friday night, and then I watched the reruns Saturday morning. Didn't matter what episode it was, I was watching it.
Yeah. She was Chum Chum. She was also Smillerby from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh shit! I haven't seen that show in forever. I think the last time I saw it, I was like 6.
Oh. No, but it's so cool. And the fact that they also Jason Isaacs, who's Lucius Malfoy from the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah, dude.
He voices the Inquisitor in Rebels, and he's the voice of Commander Zhao from Avatar.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, and I was like, wait, that's Lucius Malfoy, because Commander Zhao has an American accent, and I was like, wow, he does American accents so good. I didn't even recognize him. That was really cool. And then finding out that Mark Hamill also voiced Firelord Ozai, that was awesome.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, but also I knew that D. Baker voiced Appa and Momo. That I knew, because D. Baker can do all those crazy animal noises.
Yeah, he's Perry the Platypus, man.
Yeah. I met him. I also saw him again because I met him before at Celebration Star Wars Weekends, and I saw him again at Florida SuperCon. I also got to meet Michelle Ang, who's the voice of Omega.
Dude, she's so awesome. When I met her at Rebel ScumCon, I thought I knew that she had an accent, but when she actually talked, I literally I was like, "What?" And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, you are Omega. Like, you just walked out of my TV screen. Like, what just happened? She was like, yeah, I don't put on a voice. Like, this is just my voice. I do a terrible, terrible impression of her.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I was
Yeah.
like, I hate to be this guy, but can you please say tech for me? Can you please say Hunter?
She's like Tick and Hunter, you know? Yeah. No, she was very sweet. I actually told her indeed this story because, there's a moment in the Bad Batch where Omega is talking with Tech after I think Fives left the group. And she says to him, she's like, Fives just left. How can you not feel the way that you're feeling? Like, I feel so upset, overwhelmed that this happened. And Tech like said, just because I process things differently, it doesn't mean I feel any less than you. And I was like, well, because I don't think I mentioned this to you before we started, but both my younger brother and I are on the autism spectrum. We had a lot of challenges growing up as young kids, but we had a lot of support from our family. We did a lot of early intervention services, and now I work as a RBT, or a registered behavioral technician, which means I work with kids on the spectrum, and I was in their shoes when I was their age. So kind of hearing them have that conversation, I was like, that's exactly how I feel as someone on the spectrum. And I'm pretty sure that's how these kiddos feel,
Yeah.
the ones that I'm working with. So that really resonated a lot with me. And I was like, and I thank you for that. And Dee was very, very happy to hear that. Michelle almost started crying. So that was a moment I'm never gonna forget. So
Dude, that's insane.
yeah. And I have to I want to ask one last who's been one celebrity encounter you never forgot in a positive way?
Ooh. They've all been great. Honestly, it's a tie between Manny Jacinto and Ivana Sakno.
Ooh.
I met her at Ocala Comic Con last year.
Yeah.
This beauty signed by her.
Awesome.
And then the only photo op I have is with Ivana Sakno.
Oh. Yeah, I heard she's awesome.
She is. I asked. She did she had a panel last year, and I asked her for the best of her ability to explain it. Like, what is Balin's disdain towards Anakin? Like, what is up with that? Why does he not like Anakin? Like, would Balin have potentially hinted at some stuff with Shin about it? And she was like, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, that would be more of something to ask Ray if he was still around. And I was like, I didn't even think about that.
Right, because Ray had passed before the show premiered.
I wish he was around, man, because everybody loves his character and he doesn't get to see all the love and praise for it.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that Rory McCann does him justice. We'll see.
I think he will. I think he will.
That's awesome. I would say, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
We got to the photo op, and she looked and she was like, "You're the guy that asked the question about Balin." I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to answer your question. Like, if you have anything else you want to ask me, we can ask right now." And the people taking the photo ops were like, "Hey, you need to speed this up. Come on." I'm like, "Hey, she's talking to me."
Yeah.
But we took the photo, and then I went immediately back into her autograph line because I was waiting for 2 hours, and then she had her panel. But luckily, they gave us numbers so we could come back and immediately get back in our spots.
Perfect.
And when I got up to her table, she was like, "You're the dude." This guy, she looks at her whole team and everything. She's like, "This guy asked a really good question about Balin, and I feel so bad that I couldn't answer it."
Aww.
And we just we were talking about Ahsoka. I was like, thank you so much for I know this is your first project with Star Wars, and I really just thank you. Just thank you. I was like, I really don't have anything other to say, but thank you for bringing a super cool new character to life that doesn't suck. Essentially. Yeah, I didn't say that doesn't suck, but like the way I phrased it essentially was like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, I know you can't give very much about the next season, but could we potentially be seeing the mother? And she just looked at me and she was like, "We'll have to see," and winked at me, and I was like, Yo, hold up."
Oh, that'll be exciting. So she did know something.
Yeah, she
That's
knew
really cool.
something.
She knew something. Oh, what about Manny? What was your interaction with
And
Manny?
oh, I walked up to him and I originally was going to tell him that, like, hey, man, I'm not a big fan of the Acolyte, but you absolutely stole the show for me. And my buddy Clone Force was like, hey, you should probably rephrase that because that kind of sounds like a backhanded compliment. And I was like, you're kind of right. It does. And I don't remember exactly like what I said, but I was like, hey, dude, like you killed it in the Acolyte. Like episode 5 really like put me on to like how powerful this dude actually is. And we were just talking about Chimere for a couple minutes because I was doing a fan panel at Ocala and it was at like 12 o'clock and it was like 11:57 that I'm
Oh boy.
talking to this dude.
Oh boy.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
But
It's okay.
I looked at him and like my buddy Clone Force was like, hey man, do you think that like he has a name? Is his name Chimere? He's like, hey, it's pretty interesting, man. Never really thought about that. And when he's like, no, dude, your name's Chimere. Like until somebody tells me otherwise, that guy's name is Chimere. And I looked at him and I was like, so do you think that we'd be able to potentially see Chimere come back in like a future project, maybe like a backstory about him, maybe a book,
Yeah.
like maybe a limited series? And he just looked at me, he smirked, and he's like, wouldn't that be interesting? And I was like, motherfucker, y'all are basically confirming without confirming that we might be getting this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. It'll be very interesting to see how that character comes back because, like you said, the fan reaction to his character was more positive than a lot of the other I think from what I've seen from the convention routes, I think out of all the cast members of the Acolyte, well, maybe I think also Daphne Keene. I think him and Daphne Keene, I think, are the ones that have gone the most to conventions, not so much the other ones. So
Yeah, unfortunately, Lee Jung Jae lives in Korea, so not.
that's right. Maybe in the near future, because I think people liked Soul as well. Soul
Yeah.
was very well received, and I believe that was the first project he ever did in the English language, because most of it was like all Korean shows, Korean language shows. So that was like his first. And I have to say, his English was very good.
Dude,
He did pretty well.
I love that he learned English. He wanted to learn English for it, so he did, and he wanted to basically mimic Qui-Gon, like in the way that he acts. And I was like, bro, this guy. Yes, I like it. Upon my second rewatch, I kind of noticed like Chimere's not the villain. Soul is the entire true villain of this show. Soul gets his ego checked in episode 3 of the Acolyte by Vernestra being like, "Yeah, but that's why you don't have a Padawan." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll show you. I'll get one of these two kids to be my Padawan."
Oh boy. Oh boy. Wow. But wow, that's so cool that you had those encounters with Manny and with Ivana. I hope to meet them one day at a con. Actually, I want to say one in addition to Ashley and Hayden, I think the other top experience celebrity meeting last year was Gina Carano at MegaCon Orlando.
I'm so sad. Not sad. I'm mad that I didn't go to MegaCon last year because I had my tickets and everything. And then a month before, I was like, nah, I kind of need the money. So I refunded my tickets.
Oh man. No, but it's okay. I mean, maybe the following year you'll get to go to MegaCon because it's big. Because they had a lot of big names. This past year they had Ron Howard and his daughter Bryce Dallas Howard and his brother Clint. Like it was like the whole Howard family. I was like, wow, that's awesome. My friend David got to meet him, So that was pretty cool. But no, yeah, I met Gina at MegaCon Orlando. She autographed my drawing. I literally started crying at her autograph table because I was like telling her how mad I was that she was fired from the show. Like not just the fact that she was fired, but how she was fired and how she found out, you know? That was just disappointing. And then I gave her a big hug in the photo op. So that was cool. And then 3 days later she filed her lawsuit. So I was like, I knew something was up. So in fact, I'm actually wearing Kara right now.
Heck yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hoping that I will say that I'm kind of glad that they settled because based on like what they stated when they put out the statement about the settlement, I guess maybe Kara might find a way to maybe sneak her back in, you know? I mean, we'll see. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I hope we get to see her again, man, because I genuinely liked her character in season
too.
1 and 2.
Me
I
too.
mean, and honestly, like, it's kind of a little bit of Pedro Pascal fatigue, but
Oh boy.
when I see The Mandalorian, I don't think Pedro Pascal. I think of Brendan Wayne because I've met Brendan Wayne and I've heard some stories that this dude has told, and I really just don't like the way that basically Disney and sometimes the fans basically treat Mando. Like they see Mando and think Pedro, and it's like he doesn't do anything but take the helmet off.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I heard Brendan Wayne's cool and Latif
Mhm.
Crowder's. And I heard they're really cool to me. I hope to meet them soon. So
Yeah, he's very cool. I got to see him at ICC with Katie Sackhoff. I've actually met her like 3 times this year.
I would love for Katie to sign my drawing too, because I have a drawing of Bo-Katan. So if I ever meet her, I'm gonna have her autograph it.
Dude, she's so nice. Like I've only talked to her like after the cons. Like I haven't gotten her autograph or anything like that because her lines are always one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. She's also big in the Battlestar Galactica franchise, so she gets a
Yeah.
lot of fans from that. Well, those were so fun. Like hearing your experiences at cons and you meeting all the celebrities, and I think that's awesome. And it's great that we get to chat a lot about Star Wars tonight. And I really appreciate the invitation that
Of
you
course.
extended.
Anytime.
Yeah. Actually, before we sign off, I want to tell you one really cool Star Wars related fun fact on Pokemon.
Hell yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so in the stage production that I have been doing a lot of deep diving into and interviewing the people and the actors and the audience members and the creatives, there was an interview that occurred, I think, in the time. Do you remember the Pokemon Go craze?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So when Pokemon Go exploded, there was a website that interviewed the writer for the production of the Pokemon stage show, and apparently in the story, this was like a completely original story because it was supposed to serve as a sequel to like the first movie. Do you remember Pokemon the first movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was supposed to serve as like a sequel to the first movie. It was like considered the unofficial one. But apparently there was a little subplot where Ash Ketchum's mother used to date Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, when they were teenagers. And originally in one of the first drafts, they were going to say that Giovanni was Ash's biological father.
Oh shit.
Yeah, talk about a real Darth Vader twist. They were originally going to say it, but based on one of the conversations I had with one of the producers at Radio City Music Hall, because that's where the production was mounted, Radio City, Showplace of the Nation in New York City. They said they submitted the draft to Nintendo, and the executives were like, "No, don't make it official. You can tease it, but don't make it official." So yeah, that was the cool, almost Star Wars adjacent connection to Pokemon.
That kind of reminds me. One last thing before I do the outro. It reminds me of like the Tops, like when Tops first started doing Star Wars cards in the 90s. Well, I mean, they've had cards since 77, but like when they started doing like the Galaxy series, like series 1, there was one card that almost got printed and it's not like George immediately was like, "No, you're not allowed to do this." Like, nope, nope, nope. It was Yoda pray basically like praying to a statue of another Yoda. And George was like, "No, nope, nope. We don't know nothing about Yoda species, so no, you can't use that card."
Interesting. I did not know that.
I didn't know that until I got into the Star Wars cards.
That is so cool. But yeah, it kind of shows like George knew his stuff. And he's like, listen, we'll talk about Yoda sometime in the near future. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll see more about Yoda in the near future.
Well, I like the fact that we don't know much about his species or anything like that, because not everything's got to be explained. Certain things need to be, but not a lot.
I agree. I completely agree.
But thank you for joining me on this fantastic conversation / interview.
Yeah.
And thank you guys at home for watching. All of Mariana's links will be in the description down below. Make sure you guys go check her out, and may the force be with you always. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.